And then Pro Football Focus. Sorry about that. So what's going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, the Chargers did make a pretty big move with some guys that got waived from the NFL teams to cut down to 53 on all the rosters the other day. So they did pick up the running back Sony Michel, who was drafted by New England. Did pretty good there. Won a championship last year with the Rams. And he signed with Miami in the offseason, but didn't make the cut there for some reason. And now he's going to come to LA Chargers this time, which is pretty cool. I always liked him. He's a pretty good guy, not only fantasy, but to help out as a secondary running back as well. He was awesome in college at Georgia, so really like the dude. And in the process, they had to get rid of at least the same position. I like when you give up the same position type of player instead of someone else on another position. But they did let go of Larry Roundtree III, who's going into his second year with the Chargers, the same position running back. So good luck to him. But yes, I think we do get an upgrade as a good secondary guy to help spill the time for Austin Eckler. So definitely happy about that. Then Duke star, who I think is the better player that's on the team right now, Dariq Whitehead, recently went and had surgery on a fractured foot he suffered during practices or some type of thing at Duke recently this week. And luckily they said he's going to be playing in the fall, but excuse me, I did find out today that he is officially out 6 to 8 weeks. So it's cutting pretty close to when the games start in the middle of like the football season, basically is when college basketball starts. So if I don't mind him missing some of the beginning of the season, which is some of the crappier games that they schedule, but for the bigger time matchups and going into conference play, I would prefer to have him healthy. So hopefully he is available around that time. So good luck to him, and hopefully, you heal up quickly. And then Boulevard, USC's NIL thing that they created to help guys get money on the team and throughout all their student athletes. They recently signed with an automotive group. Their name is Fletcher Jones Automotive Group. Yeah, so a couple of the USC football players, including Jordan Addison, one of the top receivers, who recently, as you saw in the last couple of videos, signed with American Airlines, was it? And Tuli Pelotu. They've actually both got some Mercedes-Benz S500, something like that. So that's obviously probably one of the better cars of a Mercedes-Benz, and they're rolling around campus with that as of right now. And I'm pretty sure if some other guys end up putting commercials, logo commercials, or other signings at the store and stuff, all that crap, then they'll be able to get a car, or at least a good deal on a car payment as well. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And then when it comes to the Anaheim Ducks, they made a pretty interesting trade. They traded for a defensive player. I believe he was from Nashville, in Dmitry Kulikov, one of those. And they only traded for future consideration, so it could be either a little bit of petty cash, so not that much money being sent out, or a late draft pick, like a 6th or 7th round that they'll announce pretty soon. But overall, I guess the team didn't want him at where he was at, but the Ducks could always use some good, at least some guys who've been in the league for a bit, talent-wise, on their roster. So not mad at this trade at all. Definitely looking forward to seeing him on the rink this holiday season. And then Cam Reddish, the Duke player, I mentioned him in the last video, that he could be involved in a trade for the Lakers, or to the Lakers, when it's like the Knicks and Utah Jazz trade for Donovan Mitchell, all that. But apparently he just finally said that he's been tired of playing out there in New York and want to change the scenery. So they might end up letting him go just to waive him, and he could end up signing with the Lakers. You never know, because they do need a wing type of offensive player. But they could also trade one of their future second-round picks, and I still think the Knicks will take that because they're taking away salary and only spending money in the future and not right now. So overall, it'll work. We'll see what the Lakers do, because I know they're trying to maybe make a trade with Indiana, but Indiana's asking price is a bit too much for everybody. So we'll see how that turns out. And then a couple of ex-USC players were released as part of the the reckoning or the rapture of the NFL, where they cut all the lists down to 53, which is pretty interesting for one of these guys, especially Jay Tufele. It's a pretty high draft pick and was a pretty talented player coming out of USC when he got selected by the Jaguars, but now he's going to be going to the Cincinnati Bengals. They claimed him off a waiver, so they didn't even let him get to free agency, so that's how much they like and want him on their team. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see what he can do with the team that just went to the Super Bowl. And then also an ex-left tackle, I forget if he was left tackle or right tackle, Chuma Edoga from USC, who was drafted by the Jets but recently let go. I know there were some rumblings before this release that he might get traded to Dallas because they need a left tackle because their own USC left tackle is injured, Tyron Smith, but it never happened, so he got released. But he couldn't even get to free agency either because he got claimed by the Atlanta Falcons. And it usually goes a claiming waiver, so it goes from the worst team to the best team record-wise of last year. So they'll call you and see if you want him, and then if so, then you claim him, and then usually it's like a later, like way future draft pick, I think, something like that, or maybe cash, something like that. I forget how the process is, but that's how they do it. They give the opportunity for the crappier teams to get some of these better players, and then you see what draft pick you end up giving up in the future. That's what it is. So Falcons were obviously pretty bad last year, so they picked them up right away because I guess they need help, but we'll see what he does. It'll be very interesting for him as well. Then when it comes to the Buffalo Bills, yes, they sadly let go of my guy, quarterback Matt Barkley, who recently played punter for them as well, but I think they have Case Keenum now, so it's pretty easier for him to, at least Barkley, to make the roster last year, which was Trubisky, or I forget if he was even there. I think he might have been at Tennessee also, so he did get picked up after he got let go of the Bills, so I'm assuming he's going to get picked up again, even though he's not doing too shabby when it comes to crypto and all that stuff when I saw him on a recent podcast with the Chargers player, so good luck to him either way. But yes, one of my favorite ex-USC quarterbacks. And then when it comes to the Chargers practice squad, yes, they did let go of a lot of guys, but like I mentioned, some of those guys that I mentioned that they had let go a couple of days ago, they might bring back, which is what they did. So we'll go through the list real quick, and they end up having some more spots to add to this in the future if they want to add some guys that become available. So they added the offensive lineman, if I remember, Zach Bailey, the wide receiver Michael Bandy, Christian Covington, which I was surprised he returned, especially for the practice squad, Joe Gaziano, defensive end, Kamon Hall, I believe, was a cornerback, Michael Jaquay, I believe, was another cornerback, Hunter Kampmoyer was a tight end, Carlo Kemp, defensive end, Raheem Lane, I forget what he was, Tyreek Maddox Williams, forget what he was, then Jason Moore Jr., forget what he was, Joe Reed was a receiver / punt returner, Foster Sarro, forget what he was, and surprisingly Mark Webb that they let go, but they did put him back on the practice squad because he did have an injury, which is why he didn't get claimed, so glad he's back on the roster in some capacity. So yes, we'll see what the future holds for these guys, but yes, overall we could add some more. There was a lot of guys who I saw that got let go that were pretty good, but they also did get picked up pretty quickly right away, so we'll see who's available after this first week, with if there are any injuries that pop up around the league. Yes, PFF, Pro Football Focus, recently put up on Twitter saying that USC football has the top 3 best ranked offensive line, sadly starting offensive line out there in college football today, which is pretty cool. I know the past couple years it hasn't been that great of a spot on their team, but at least they're getting some recognition now because there are some talented guys on that part of the team and could get drafted pretty soon in their near future. And then to end off with some miscellaneous news, yes, Taika Waititi apparently will not be returning for Thor 5, which would be a completion of his trilogy, or at least the 3rd Thor movie he's done. I guess they're kind of inciting right now that because of sort of the backlash or kind of mixed reviews that he's been getting for the 4th Thor movie, Thor Love and Thunder, that I guess at times it was either too comical or maybe not too serious enough when it should have been at certain times. It's just kind of weird because he did a lot of that too in the 3rd one, his first one, Thor Ragnarok, and everybody loved it and praised it all this stuff, but I guess because it was a different subject and different characters, it didn't work out, or it might have gotten played out too much that they didn't like, and it still made like over $700 million, so it's definitely a profitable movie for Marvel and Disney, so they wouldn't mind having him back. But also I think he's just going to be too busy. You never know if he's going to be directing something else. Obviously, maybe there's a chance he could still do a Star Wars movie, but other than that, I haven't really seen anything on his docket. But overall, definitely would be excited if he were to come back either way, just to complete his 3-movie trilogy of Thor. But either way, I'd still liked the newest movie. It wasn't like my favorite Marvel movie, but I still had a fun time, which is what Marvel movies are. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.